Hi everybody, we're back in your fields with the Unk. It is a Friday morning and we excited and we are pumped up, Jay, for
Yes, sir.
for the
Yes, sir.
weekend. Pumped up for the weekend, man. If you're watching this program, please don't forget to subscribe. Press that subscribe button and get yourself subscribed. So because we've got exceptional shows on here, and this morning is no exception. We've got a great show.
Most deaf, young. Like you said, what a way to start the weekend. TGIF. Thank
Yes.
God.
It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday.
Yes, sir. Man, it's such an honor and a privilege. The Unk is going to be absolutely insane.
So, Jay,
Phenomenal.
how have you been doing this week? Good week for you?
It's been good. Depends what the question's about though.
No, I'm just talking about you, bro.
In general, nah, I'm good. In general, I'm good. You know, we always speak about the football topic, but
Yeah,
let's
no,
not
let's
go
leave
there.
that. Just
But-
leave that, Jay. We no football, right?
No, nothing.
We'll keep that for some other time.
I see you've been enjoying the tennis and the cricket.
Hey,
that's
man,
your
that's
thing
been
now.
that's been awesome, man. That's been awesome. Pakistan has been winning, so that's good. That's good. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please press that subscribe button and subscribe to the show. It's gonna be a blast this
Yep.
morning. This morning we have the incomparable, the beautiful, the fabulous. Lois Du Plessis, she's with us this morning. Please put your hands together. Oh, what a beautiful woman this is. And man, you know what? We're so excited and we honored. Lois, thank you so much for coming. I'm so honored to have you on the show. This is the incomparable Lois Du Plessis.
Good morning, guys. Oh my gosh, look at the studio, guys. This is like the most amazing studio. I just feel like I'm somewhere in London.
In London.
In London.
Yeah.
Not Atlanta, or it's just London.
No, London.
Oh, okay, cool.
So clean and so fresh, and so pristine.
Beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's giving me London feels.
Great, man. Great. Lois, we're gonna introduce her in a sec, right? And tell you all about her. We speaking this morning. Our subject is about the sacred and the secular, and you're gonna learn some stuff this morning. I'm gonna learn some stuff, Jay. I can't wait for this
Definitely,
interview because Lois has such a huge amount of experience, and we're gonna tap into that this morning. But thank you so much. Before we go, Lois, we've got a segment called the warm-up segment. You
Okay.
said you're coming with your skipping rope today because you're gonna do some other type of warm-up, but you didn't.
Yeah, no. I've put on heels this morning.
Right.
I dressed, I got to dress up for these things. So I left my skipping rope at home.
Yeah.
But what kind of warm-up? What kind of?
Give me
warm-up?
one voice warm-up, and we don't want. And
What did we do last week, Dunk?
That's the vocal fry.
the vocal fry,
That's
yeah.
the best thing to do in the morning. Well, okay, so for me, obviously some cardio in the morning is always a good thing to do.
Serious?
Before you sing, it's always good for you to just get a little bit of blood flowing through your body. Get some blood flowing. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Want ek wil vir julle kyk en die mic in die mic praat.
It's cool.
So get some cardio going. That always works for me because your voice is a muscle. You guys have heard
Yep.
this before. Your voice
Yep.
is a muscle, so you want to wake it up like you would any part of your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
So normally what I do is I warm up in the shower and
Okay.
I just hum on my lowest register.
Okay.
So just
Is that your lowest register? So whoever, it must be my lowest register.
your lowest register, whatever, but without forcing the sound.
Okay.
So
Okay,
I
cool.
think a lot of people try to get a sound out first thing in the morning. Your voice is still waking up, so you're
Yeah.
not necessarily going to have a sound. So it
Right.
might be
Okay.
depending
Okay.
on the day.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but whatever your lowest register is for that morning, just hum on that softly.
How long, Lo? How long?
Just do as long as you can.
Okay, cool.
Okay, let's try that first together. Go.
But I have to come now on your pitch.
See now, what you did was you tried to find my note. We're not.
Yeah.
Don't concern yourself about that. It's a
Oh,
beautiful
okay.
noise. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
noise. Don't worry about the niceness.
Okay.
Your register. Let's go. You know what we sound like? We sound like, like I think it's the Xhosa tribe. They do that really like.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
sound like that. But yeah, that's something that I do.
Okay.
Until I'm comfortable, I do vocal fries in the morning, and then I also just do r's and the
Wait. And if you can't say 3 treine ry op 3 geroeste spore, 3 treine, how are you gonna do?
2 treine ry op 3 geroeste spore.
Yeah, but now
Sure.
if you can't say r,
R, then
okay.
yeah.
Oh, r.
So this basically just loosens up your muscles in your face. And I'm
Right.
sure you guys have got all of these. But for me, what really works is a little bit of cardio.
Right.
Jumping on a skipping rope for like 2 minutes. Or if you can do 30 seconds at a time or a minute.
That's
Okay.
It just gets your blood flowing.
Good. Jay,
That's good.
Jay, I wonder, have you been rehearsing or practicing this that we've been doing here in studio? Bro,
Kinda. Kinda. Kinda.
this is free lessons.
Nah, big facts, and it's incredible to see. For me, it's incredible to see what the different artists
Yeah.
do.
True.
It's
Listen, last week
it's
we heard about
creepy, but
the
it's
fry, right? The
Yes.
vocal fry. So I've been trying that. It's actually quite nice.
That's my favorite one, but because our dear
Wow.
friend, because it really just relaxes your throat, it relaxes your muscles.
Okay.
So, and you don't have to put any effort into it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So as we said, this morning we interviewing Lois Du Plessis. She's Lois got a diploma in a national diploma in drama at TUT. Lois, TUT, yeah.
Yes,
That's where you got your diploma from, right?
Yes, I studied at TUT.
Drama.
Back then it was called Pretoria Tech,
Okay.
but now it's called TUT.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So and then from there she's moved on. She's done so many things. She's been in the States living there for I think about 12 years. Like the woman with the issue of blood. For 12 years she was
Or
living
12 years a slave.
in the States.
Whichever way.
So
sheesh.
she's been all over,
word.
man. She's been all over.
Movie.
So Lo, tell me, where did this all start? Just give us an introduction to your journey, man.
Man, I think for me, if I had to go back to the start, I would say I was born in Coronation Hospital,
Right?
like all the rest of us, and then and then I actually grew up in a very small town called Middelburg, Mpumalanga.
Okay.
And the township I grew up in is Nazareth. So I would say it started there for me. I would sing at church with my parents. We went to school in my mom's classroom, and that's where my foundations began. I went to school in a classroom for the majority of my childhood.
Right.
And so I think having that experience as a child has gone with me wherever I go. I
Okay.
never forget where I come from, and I'll never become too big-headed to forget those
Wow.
beginnings, because that's what set the foundation for me. So whenever anybody asks me what your foundation is, as daai koortjies wat ons gesing het,
Right.
you know, those choruses we sang, the time we had in my mom's classroom.
What's your favorite chorus
Oh gosh.
of all time? The old choruses.
Because he lives, I can face tomorrow.
Wow.
Because he lives,
Yeah.
all fear is gone. Because I know how. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
Ek gaan nou nie emotional raak. As jy begin nou worship, raak jy sommer emotional.
Oh man.
Ja, ek nie emotional raak.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, classroom. That's where your foundation was. You moved on then.
Yes.
From there, you were in a national show or music show, whatever, talent show, whatever you call it. And I think that was more of a break to bring you out in the open. What
Yes.
was that called? Coca-Cola Pop Stars? Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So I had just finished, I was actually in my last year of college, and then I was doing an ad campaign for this new show called for a pop show that was coming into the country, and so I was going to all these advertising companies selling advertising space for the show.
Yeah.
And what happened was, every single company that we went to, they were like, "Oh, you should be a part of this competition," and I was like,
Right.
"No, it's okay. I just want to be an actor. It's fine." And my best friend at the time asked me to audition with her, so I went with her to the last audition in Pretoria. I'll never forget it. We were first in line.
Right.
Baie vroeg voor we were. And we stood in line, and I made it to the finals that day.
Okay.
And she didn't.
Oh man.
And so that was it. I didn't expect. I went with her. I didn't expect to be a part of the competition because I
Right.
really just wanted to be an actress.
Yeah.
Singing was never really like the biggest thing for me. It's something that I've always done, but I really wanted to be an actress.
Okay, so that was your first love, basically. Oh, I wouldn't say your first love, but that's what you wanted to do.
Yes, that's what I've always wanted to do.
Okay.
But God always opened the doors in singing for me.
Okay.
And so throughout my career and my life, it's always
Yeah.
been like, yeah, but God, I want to act. And then
Yeah.
God's like, yeah, but no, you must sing.
Okay,
So
okay.
that's been my life for. And I'm like, God, but I'm not even like the best of singers. Like there's so many amazing singers.
Yeah, for you, yeah.
No, I'm serious.
Okay.
I'm just going to smash my afro 1 second.
Yeah, smash it, man.
Sorry, guys. Okay, there we go.
There
I
we
hope I
go,
don't
there we
look
go.
weird.
No, you look good.
It's-
You look
Doesn't
good.
matter.
It's cool.
Yeah. So tell me, Coca-Cola Pop Stars.
Yeah.
Did you win Coca-Cola Pop Stars?
No.
Okay.
So there were 10 of us in the top 10 of us
Mm-hmm.
that were chosen for the top 10, obviously. And then 5 won, which was 101. Kurt, Pam,
Oh, yes,
Aaron,
yes.
Preston and Toomey, they won the competition.
Was this the second edition, first edition?
Very first.
Very first edition.
So just a bit of a backstory. So I actually wanted to enter Idols.
Okay.
And Randall told me that I couldn't sing.
Wow,
Myself,
yeah.
myself and Haley, we were all in line
Yeah.
together, and he didn't choose us.
Wow, as if he can sing. Yeah, but okay, but anyway.
No disrespect to him and
Yeah.
his life, but so that actually, like I had a bad taste for reality at the time in
Okay.
my mouth because I also was like, I don't really want to do this. So
Right.
when I did go to the competition, I had no expectation or anything like that. I was just like, God, your will. And yeah.
Yeah.
So we went, we did the audition. It was a lot of fun. It was a great day. And then I made it to the top 10.
Okay.
After top 10, we lost the competition, the 5
What,
of us.
what was your group called?
Afro Z.
Afro Z. That's it.
So we lost the competition, 101 won. And then just before their launch, Virgin EMI came and offered us a deal and said, listen, we want to offer you guys a deal.
Wow.
So we had already accepted that we've lost. They won this big house to live in and cars. They all won Peugeots. I'll never live it down because my favorite line in the show was, what color is my Peugeot? And I didn't win a Peugeot. Shame.
Man.
But yeah, so I think it also exposed us to a lot. We went from being normal people to wherever we walked in the streets, people would ask us for an autograph, and they knew our names well. They called me Lois, Louisa, whatever they decided they wanted to call me at the time. And it changed our lives. Like you said, it gave us an opportunity into something that back then there was no social media. There was no,
It was only television.
It was television. So
Yes.
everybody knew you because there was only a limited amount of television as well. that was
SABC
being-
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we were on SABC 3. Everybody knew you because everybody was tuning in.
Yeah.
So it was it was a huge experience for me, but I also felt like it was preparation for the rest of my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So just give us an intro to the song that you guys recorded
Oh,
of Afro Z. What was it again?
my coldest war is right here waiting just for me. And can somebody help me? Can't you see what
bring
I'm
back
going
memories, man.
through? Shout out to the Afro Z guys. I love you guys so much. I love you guys.
Beautiful.
So now in the midst of the singing, you said it's not really something that you wanted to pursue per se. What was happening in the acting arena at that at that point? Was that something that you had to put aside because now the music career?
Yeah, so
popped off?
it was a constant struggle for me. I remember sitting down with my agent because I had just been offered, I remember it was like right in the beginning of my career, I was offered a role in Fame, the musical.
Fame.
Yeah.
I'm gonna live.
And I couldn't go because we were on tour with Ja Rule at the time,
Ah,
traveling,
sheesh.
opening for him.
Sheesh.
And
Jay?
so
Ja Rule.
and I like it felt like that all the time. Like I was struggling, like, this is now my career. My career
Yeah.
has now shifted to become a pop singer. And now I have to so I had to put my acting aside for a while. For
Okay.
almost 2 years. I couldn't do any auditions. I couldn't take any shows. And it was hard for me because I've always felt like that was a big part of who I am.
Okay, so you had to put that
Aside.
for
Yeah.
2 years. And then from there, now I want to move because remember we're talking about the sacred and the secular, right? So
So we're on the secular
we,
now.
we were on the secular. We started sacred, right? So we're on the secular now. And then after that, a big step in your whole career and in your life per se, you moved, New Breed came in.
Yes.
So how did that all happen?
Sure. So I was at Pastor Mark Bismarck's church for a concert.
Okay.
Long story short, I was at his church for a concert, and I was a huge fan of Israel's because I was a church girl.
Israel Houghton.
Yes.
Okay.
And because I was a church girl, always, no matter what I did, even though die kerkmense het gesê ek is afvallig want ek is 'n Afrozie,
All
and I'm
right.
not a child of God, and I'm
Right.
not saved anymore because I'm
Yes.
singing pop music, but that didn't deter me because
Okay.
I had a good upbringing,
Yeah.
and it never
Yeah.
pulled me away from God. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes as Christians we can push people away from God with what we say, not knowing that God may want to use that person in a different way that he's using you. He places those people specifically because they're called for that arena and
Yeah.
you're not.
Yeah.
And if you can't handle it, doesn't mean that they can't. And so anyway,
100%.
that
Yep.
was, for me, it was very difficult because I was
Okay.
young and just out of school, and people were saying that I'm a devil worshiper and stuff because
Okay.
now I'm not singing gospel music. But I knew what my purpose was. in
So
life.
that's the stigma that people put on you.
Yeah.
They say devil worshiper.
Yeah,
they say-
you're not a Christian anymore.
Yeah.
If you follow anything, like if the problem with entertainment, which is what our career is that it's on a stage, it's on a platform, right?
Yeah.
Public
And
space.
It's a
Spotlight.
public space.
Yeah.
So people assume that when you're on a public space, you either have to be a pastor or an evangelist.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
You can't be anything outside of that. But how are we going to be a light to the world
Okay.
Yeah.
if that's the only
Exactly.
spaces we occupy?
Right.
You know, so I think I had peace with that a long time ago. My
Right.
ma het altyd gesê, "Ja, jy worry ook niks." Ek worry nie, mense betaal nie my rente, hulle koop nie vir my klere nie. Ek
Right.
kan nie worry oor hulle nie.
Yes.
And I think that kept me going in life is
Mm-hmm.
because I knew who I was in Christ, and I knew that I didn't have to explain that to anyone.
Right.
Did that like back you away from the church? Not God, but the church, like the physical.
I think
that space.
I think in my younger years I did struggle a little bit because I grew up in a very traditional church where it was more legalistic and a lot of rules in
Okay.
terms of like we had to wear stockings growing up, we had to wear hats growing up. If you didn't have a hat going into church, dan word jy mantille gegee by die deur.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with those foundations, but I think also there was no explanation as to why we had to do it. And
Yeah.
it was not biblical.
Yeah.
It was religion.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I struggled with a lot of that, fight against the religious stuff because when I went to college, I went to his people, and then I found a whole different relationship with God because I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know this loving God.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know this.
You know the hard God.
I know this. Ons was,
Yeah.
we had openligdienste. We had to, every Sunday after church, dan moet jy daar buite gaan staan
Yes.
en vir die mense skree en sê hoe gaan hulle hel toe.
Yeah.
And that was how I grew up. And as an adult, I was like, but this doesn't make sense. Like, I don't understand this. I was always a
Yeah.
rebel. And it got me in trouble a lot, but it also got me to understand who Christ is.
Yeah.
Because then I had to find him for myself and to understand that he's a loving father. And, you know,
Wow.
like there's so much of what we were indoctrinated with that isn't word,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
religion.
Yeah.
And I think in this season of life, that's why the Bible says, study yourself. You need to know the word of God. For yourself, you need to study it, read the scriptures, go in depth and really study stuff for yourself. So that when you are placed into the secular world,
Yeah.
like I was, and I
Yes.
feel like that's where God called me,
Yeah.
you need to be able to stand so that
Yes.
when you are in the environments of a club setting, performing with your
Yeah.
pop group, you must still be able to be a light.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Your light must still shine in the darkest of
Exactly.
places. You
Yes.
must be able to be there, but be a light.
Yes.
And many
And
times,
that's the difference.
and many times people don't understand that that's what we in actual fact called to do
To be a light.
Yes,
in those spaces. I mean, Jesus was in the secular.
Yeah.
David was in the secular.
exactly.
All these people, when Paul was in the secular.
Yeah, and I'm not saying Christians, please. I'm not saying Christians go to club. I'm not saying do that, please. Asseblief pastore.
Ja,
Ek
no.
het nie gesê hulle members moet keer club toe gaan nie.
No.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if your career calls you to do certain things in those environments, how are you being a light?
Yeah. I
And
hear you 100%.
That's
Yeah.
it's so important.
I've sidetracked you a little bit.
Yeah, you did.
So we back now at Pastor Mark. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Pastor Mark Bismarck had a concert.
Yes.
Israel Houghton was singing there.
Yeah.
And I was a huge fan, very
Yeah.
huge fan. But rewind 2 weeks before that, he was singing. I don't know if you remember, Rhema Church used to have this conference every year. That year, Eddie Long was preaching. Andy Stanley, they had a conference every year. So
Okay.
I used to go every year to the
The
big
celebration,
conference.
Rhema celebration.
Yes, in
Yeah.
February.
Yeah.
So he was, Pastor Eddie Long brought Israel as a surprise guest
Okay.
that night. And I was there. I was so bad because he had just released the Alive in South Africa album.
Wow.
And I, a week later, already knew all the songs
oh.
because I was such a big fan. And so that day, Pastor Eddie Long said, look, I don't want you guys to pass the offering baskets. I want you to come forward and ask God for what it is that you are
Right.
praying for.
Right.
And I remember at that time it was a drought in my career. I was praying, Lord, please give me a breakthrough. Like I really need, we had stopped singing with Afro Z. I was busy back in the acting world, acting, theater, performing. And it was just like a season of like auditioning and getting so many no's.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my gosh, Lord, like what is
Yeah.
this, you know? So I went and I was singing because he was singing I Am Not Forgotten. It was just him and
Yeah.
Buddy,
Yeah.
just
Okay.
the two of them.
Okay.
And he was singing with his guitar and ek het al die woorde geken. I am not forgotten. Ek gaan vorentoe go put my offering. And he smiled and ek is excited. Ek dink die man smile vir my. Shame. So I went to the front, put my offering down and went back to my seat and I said to my friend, I'm going to sing with that guy one day.
Right.
And she looked at me like, what? I said, I'm going to sing with him one day or he's going to work on my music. And she said, okay, Lois. And we carried on. 2 weeks later, at Pastor Mark's church,
Yeah.
I prayed before we went to the concert. I said, Lord, please, I just want to meet Israel. I don't want anything. I just want to meet him. If you can make that possible, please, that would be so awesome.
Right.
So at the end of the concert, Israel said, well, I'm going to open up for 20 questions. I've never done this before, but I feel led to do it. I felt like that was my answer to prayer.
Okay.
So I I went and stood in the line and just as a huge fan
Yeah.
to meet him.
You're right.
When it came to my turn to ask a question,
Yeah.
somebody in the audience started screaming, sing Lois. And then the rest of the people in the audience
Oh my
was
word.
screaming, sing Lois, sing Lois, sing Lois. And then Israel was like, oh, she can sing. They were like, yeah. And I was like, no, I'm not going to sing. And I didn't sing. I just
Okay.
was like, I'm so honored to meet you.
Right.
Thank you for taking the time because you American artists come here and then you leave.
Right.
You never talk to us. You never take the time to get to know us.
Wow.
So thank you. That was my first thing that I said. I said, thank you for making the time to talk to us.
Right.
And I said, it's just an honor to meet you. I said, if I had a question, it would be, I've heard that you're planning to work in Africa. How do we get involved?
You.
And so he was like, he looked at his brother in the back and he said, hey, Chris, remember Lois? And I was like, okay. And I said, well, Thank you so much for your time.
Chris is
Chris Houghton, his brother.
the white guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a white brother. It's actually his real brother. They have the same mom, different dad.
And he's got Chris is the sound engineer. He does engineering, does
He's
sound as
actually a
well.
bass player.
Okay.
He is Marcus Witt's bass player.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so Israel had a concert as well. You know,
At
he had a
your
lot
church,
of concerts.
yeah.
But anyway, I got to help Chris on audio
Yes.
with the mixing monitors and Jamie Braun.
Shame.
The
How did it go?
beautiful Jamie.
Jamie is awesome.
Man, that guy's awesome. And we're still in contact with one
Yeah.
another.
Jamie is a
Beautiful
beautiful
person.
soul.
So now Chris remembers Lois.
Yes. Fast forward. So I left that night.
Yeah.
Went my separate way. And at the time, like I think a week or two after that, I landed a show called We Will Rock You. So I
Yeah.
was in rehearsal for that. And at the same time, I got a TV show called 316. So I was presenting a Sunday morning show.
I
called
remember that show.
316.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would fly to Durban on a Monday, and then I would be in rehearsal Tuesday. I would be showing Tuesday to Sunday.
Yeah.
So that was my schedule. So then we did Joburg, then we went to Cape Town. Zane phones me because Zane was my worship
Zane
leader
Mears.
at the time.
Yes.
We were leading together, and he says, "Hey, Israel's coming to South Africa. He's coming to our church. He's going to be in Westbury." I said, "What? I need to be there." And he was like, "Oh, but it's this Saturday." I was like, "Oh man, I can't." I was Vicky Sampson's understudy. So I
Okay.
couldn't like get out of the show or anything. I said, "Please, man, can you just get him for the show for 316?" He's like, "Don't worry, Lois, I got you." You know how Zane is.
Yeah.
I got you, Lois, don't worry. I got you. He couldn't get Israel. Israel left right after the show. And I was just so deflated because I already told my producer I'm going to get an interview with
Oh,
Israel.
wow.
And it didn't happen. So anyway, so long story short, the Friday I tried to call the guy that brought him out, left a message, didn't get through. Saturday morning I get a call. Now I just want to paint the picture for you guys. This is how you know God is good. Do you remember Please Call Me's?
Yes.
I only had 3. That time we only had 3.
Yeah, you had a certain amount.
3
Yeah.
for the day.
Yeah.
So I didn't have airtime on my phone. I was in Cape Town. I was driving a Fola. My Fola had broken down. It was broken at the time. So I was getting a lift with Carlo to work. And the house shop, I was staying in a Muslim area. The house shop that Saturday was closed. So I couldn't put
Oh,
airtime
my
on my
word.
phone. So that's the setting. I wake up in the morning and I get a voicemail from Pastor Mark. "Hi, Lois, this is Pastor Mark Bismarck. Israel Houghton is in the country. He wants to meet you." I wake up. Guys, I ran through the house like a crazy person. I was like, I think the neighbors were like, "What is going on with this girl?" I ran through the house. I was so excited. I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know what. No, take me airtime, guys.
Ay,
Just imagine.
man.
I don't have airtime on my phone. Now I'm sending Please Call Me to my sister, the guy whose house I was staying at,
Yeah.
and my cousin in Cape Town. I was sending, "Please, no, wag ek nobody, please call me."
Whoever phones
Whoever
first.
phones us, ek hardloop, because now there's no way for me to go buy
Yeah.
airtime. Anyway, so finally my sister sent me airtime. I called Pastor Mark back. And that's just when I think of those small beginnings.
Yeah.
There's no reason. That's why I say I'll never, ever forget. Because it's important to
Yeah.
remember where you started.
Yes. Yes.
So I'll never get a big head.
Yeah.
How important do you think it was for you to be patient in that period? Because you had the moment there where you asked Israel the question, and you could have grabbed that moment and started singing like the crowd was saying,
Yes.
"Sing, Lois." But did you have an impression to say, "You know what? I'm not going to be too forward now. I know there is something waiting on the other side."
But she was forward. She didn't sing, but she was forward. You heard what she asked him. How can we get involved if she says first to him, "You Americans just come here and then you leave, don't speak to us." I mean, that's how
bold statement.
direct can you be?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was,
but
she
the
knew.
singing though,
Yeah,
it's
but
like some people will.
they'll
The
jump for
crowd
that.
is, let me show this.
Yeah.
Let me show him what I'm.
Yeah, true.
I think also, I never. So this is something that I've never wanted to be famous.
Okay.
I knew that it came with the job.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's never something that I've chased.
You just chased your dream.
I've
And your
always
passion.
just chased my dream and my passion.
Wow.
And because of that, God opened the doors. I never kicked down any doors. I never forced my way through anything.
Wow.
If it's not, I've lived my life by the philosophy. If it's for me, it will never pass me by.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so in that moment, I think more than anything, if I can be honest, I was just excited to meet Israel.
Okay.
Like I was a huge, huge, huge fan of his ministry, of his music. I didn't think about myself. I didn't think about my talent. I just honestly,
Just
in
one.
that moment, I thought, this is God answering my
Yes,
prayer
yes.
to meet Israel.
Yes.
I didn't think about when I asked, like, oh, okay, what are you doing? I didn't think that he would say, remember me. And I didn't think that he would come back to find me. So moving on with the story now.
Yes.
So Pastor Mark then calls me, blah, blah, blah. Son, he's like, okay. I was like, well, I can't come to Joburg to meet Israel. I'm doing a show. He's like, oh, don't worry. Israel will be in Cape Town tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
So anyway,
Okay.
so Israel comes to Cape Town. Fast forwarding the story, Israel comes to Cape Town. He phones me the Sunday, leaves a voice note, and I almost passed out because Israel has not opened my phone.
Hey,
with
man.
voice note. Hi, Lois. This is Israel. I want to bring my daughter. I've heard you doing a show. We'd love to come and see you. So I play the voice note for Carlo. You know Carlo?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm like, Carlo, I almost passed out.
Bassist
during
Carlo.
halftime. No, Carlo McFarlane.
Oh, Carlo McFarlane.
I'm
Okay,
like,
okay.
Carlo, die ander mense verstaan nie hoekom palpitate ek nou nie. And I'm sitting there, and after this, I sent him a text and I said, I'll phone you after work. So I phone after work. He doesn't answer the phone. He phones back. He's like, I've been looking everywhere for you. I went to Zimbabwe and I asked people in Zimbabwe. Because myself, my Zimbabwe is an under land. There's an under land. There's under place.
Africa's Africa. They think you next to one another,
So
you know.
he went to Pastor Tudor's church and he was like, no, we were at your brother's church and this girl. So he went looking for this girl.
Yeah.
And so that's how he actually found me to have Pastor Mark call me. So he's like, I've looked for you and I'd love to come and see your show. And since the day I met you, God told me that you needed to be a part of what we're doing.
Okay.
And I was like,
Okay.
huh?
Okay.
And so that's it. So we met Monday, came to see my show Tuesday. Thursday, they offered me to go with him to London the next day. I couldn't get off of work. Then December, that was in October. November, I went to visit him for Thanksgiving. And I was just going to visit.
Okay.
And I never came back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Lois.
So that's how my life changed. Like,
So you get into the States,
yes.
or you get in the States, and you staying with Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you join New Breed.
Yeah, when I first came, I was just on holiday. It was actually quite weird because I was just there to be on holiday for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Okay.
And then one of the guys that worked for him at the time, he was like, hey, Israel said you need to learn these songs. You're doing a Christmas show with him. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, just study the music. I was like, what part? He's like, just study the music. So that was my introduction. I got the CDs. I was told to study the music and be prepared. That was it.
Is that on what's that album called?
No. This was for
Oh, this
the
was
first
just a show.
So it's just
This
a
was just a
So,
show.
yeah, so the Christmas show, the very first show, so I did 2 shows with him. They were finishing off a tour, and we did a show with him. And then the second show I did was with Potter's House Choir. It was a TBN Christmas special.
Oh man.
Potter's House Choir, Mary, Jonathan Butler.
Oh, Jay.
I was like a kid in the candy store. Nou sit ek nou hier is Yolanda Adams met rollers in haar kop. Hier's Uncle Jonathan Butler. Kirk
Yeah.
Franklin staan daar. Ek sit daar so like,
Oh,
what the
man.
heck is going on? Like, why am I here?
This girl from Nazareth.
Nazareth, Middelburg. So that was like, my life changed like that.
Wow.
In one, like in it, I can't, like, when people ask me, I just say surreal because I can't describe it in any other way. Like, I can't believe that God chose me to walk that path and that it happened to me.
So Lois, how long were you in the States?
12 years.
12 years.
Yes.
Also, I was right, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12 years. And what would you say? What did that experience bring you?
A lot of growth, a lot of cancelled misconceptions. Like us, wherever you live, you have an idea of what America is like, and
Okay.
you know, like you have an
Okay.
idea of what a certain society is like. I think
Yes.
being there taught me that you have to experience things for yourself, and you really have to study the culture to know it. You can't just study it by movies. And ons het groot geword met wat as locos, and you go there with that idea that that's America.
Yes.
And then you get there and it's like it's nothing like that at all. So it really taught me a lot, and I grew a lot as a person because I spent the majority of my adult life on my own in a different country without my family. As a woman in ministry,
Wow.
I learned a lot in that sphere. The ideas that people have about you when you're a woman in ministry, a single woman in ministry, you deal with a lot of stuff because it's a man-dominated world. It's a man, and then you're an African girl, but soulful us, and then you looked at in a different way because so you kind of shrink yourself to fit into the culture because you don't want to stand out too much. So I lost a lot of myself in the beginning because I needed to or wanted to fit in.
Okay.
Even with my singing, for instance, with my accent, I had to change some of that to blend, because you can't sing an American song with a South African accent.
I hear you. 100%.
Because
100%.
it just doesn't work. You know, even though that's how I sang, like you can't do it. So
Yeah.
I had to learn a lot and I had to unlearn a lot, and then later on in life I had to take back the parts of me that I wanted to keep. And the one thing that I didn't want to lose was my South African accent. I was adamant about maintaining my South African accent and keeping it because I wanted to be unique. I didn't want to blend in.
Wow.
So now we're still on the journey.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
Christmas show.
Yes.
Christmas show.
Yeah.
Oh, we're carrying on.
Yeah,
oh,
we
from
can.
there.
Oh, the Christmas show. No, we're done with the Christmas show.
No, I wanted to. How did that open up for you to now obviously join?
So from that show, Israel just said, well, okay, here we go. So I was supposed to come back. Good. Because I was supposed to come back on the 31st of December that year, 2006. Because I had a show starting on the 3rd at the Barnyard Theatre. And so my rehearsals were starting on the 3rd. So I was flying back on the 31st. And Israel and his wife at the time asked me to please stay. They'd like me to be a part of their next recording. And I was so conflicted because I was contracted to do a show. I had the TV show here, the 316
Lois.
show. And I was like, yeah, I can't. I'm like committed to my shows. I've already signed contracts. And he was like, you know that God is bigger than those contracts. And I was like, thank you so much. I don't think I'm going to do it. On the 30th of this, he's like, well, just pray about it. We really feel led that you should do this. And I was like it just felt like home to me, you know.
So you got your answer in yourself on the 30th.
Yeah, in myself. I just
Lois, you know
decided,
that's a beautiful date, the 30th of December.
yeah.
Because that's my birthday. You got your answer on my birthday. Guys, that's awesome. Man, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
so I stayed, and I basically just sent my agent a message, and I said I've decided to stay. The thing is, I did get a prophetic word before I left that I wasn't coming back, and I was like, nah. My dad told me I wasn't coming back, and Pastor Stan Carolus told me I wasn't coming back.
Sure.
So,
And that's where it started.
yeah.
What album did you work on? So what album was that
The
you...
first album I did, actually before that album, I did Sound of the New Breed, Kingdom and Freedom.
Yes.
Those New Breed
Yes,
albums.
yes.
I was helping on those, and
Yes.
then we did the first live recording I did was Deeper.
Deeper.
Yeah.
Sing that song for me, please.
Deeper into the waters, and that we know the prayers of the righteous avail much.
Okay, so that album you worked
was
on
my
with.
first
So
album,
just take us a little bit in that experience, because there's a lot of artists listening to you out there and so forth. What is that experience like, working on an album, the preparation? Because people just hear the album. Your normal people just hear the album. Oh, that's a beautiful album. But the work that goes in it, the writing of the songs,
Yes.
the arrangements, and just take us a little into that in terms of what type of hard work it takes to get a album of that standard out.
It definitely is a lot of work, and I think A lot of people have this idea that you can just make music and just do a big thing. I
Yeah.
think what I learned a lot with Israel is that you have to collaborate and you have to work with other people. And I saw that a lot with him.
Okay.
He would have writing sessions at the house, which I got to be a part, like see and be privy to. And,
Yes.
you know, and just seeing that process of how they wrote. And he would sit and write a song and then come, and Aaron would sit and they'd have ideas and just different writing sessions. That's just the writing part.
So what
Then-
what would you say in the writing part? What would you say? Just getting a little technical now. In the writing part, what stood out for you? How do they approach writing? Do they lyrics first, a melody first, a beat first? You know, that type of thing.
Honestly, I don't know how Israel does it, eh? Like he just, I look like the songs he writes. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how God downloads it to him, but
Okay.
it's very unique because he can come up with anything. Like he's just very creative like that. I've always admired that about him. Like he's a lyricist, and
Mm-hmm. Okay.
it's a gift. Not everybody has that
Yeah,
gift. You know?
that's a fact. Yeah.
So I'm not sure how he does it because I've not always been in those writing sessions
Yeah.
per se. But like just watching them work it out and then arrange the songs, and it's something else.
I think so. It's important to, like you say, collaborate. So
Yeah.
he got Aaron in.
Yes.
He gets different guys in just to put the ideas
Yes, together.
together.
And even with our rehearsal processes, like he always, for the singing, there would always be a core group for the pre-production stuff. He'd have a core group of singers in that would do the vocal arrangements before the actual recording.
Okay.
Then they do the band production before the recording. So they'll have like a week of rehearsals where all of that stuff gets kicked out. So he'll go, here's the songs. This is what we're working on. Let's arrange the songs. Then there'll
Okay.
be a basic arrangement of those songs. After that, then they'll send it out. And then whatever ideas come, then there'll be a full rehearsal for the recording, if it's a live recording.
Okay.
And then in those weeks, like stuff gets fine-tuned. There's normally a vocal leader and a band leader.
Okay.
Which the vocal leader teaches the vocals, the parts and the harmonies and stuff, and then the band.
So you've got a vocal producer. Who was doing that?
So in the beginning it was Daniel Johnson, and then
Okay.
later on Charlotte Neal.
Okay.
Yeah, so they do the arrangements of the songs and the vocal arrangements, but it's really a team effort. Like if somebody says, "Oh, I hear this here," then we'll do that there, or I hear this there, then we'll do that there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's a basic structure from the rehearsal week that they did first.
Okay.
And then it's sent to us, we study it, we have a week, and then we record. So it's not like you have really a lot of time. To the time at home. And I think this is the biggest thing, my biggest frustration with a lot of musicians and singers is that you come to the rehearsal to rehearse. No.
No.
You come to the rehearsal to go over what you've rehearsed
Yes,
at
yeah.
home.
Oh, that's so important, Lois. Just say it louder, please.
You come to rehearsal to go over what you've studied at home.
Yes.
Like if I came to an Israel gig and not knowing the part from what's on the song, then I'm unprepared. So you have to already know your part
Yeah.
before you get there.
Before you get there.
Yeah, it's very important.
Wow.
So, Lois, I want to find out, how was your, first and foremost, how was your relationship with Israel and that 12-year period that you were in the States? Because 12 years later, you're back in South Africa.
Yeah, they're my family.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's no other way to put it. They're they'll always be my family. I mean, his kids and I, we talk every week. They are my family. They'll always just be family to me. I was truly privileged and blessed to be a part of their lives and to be given the privilege of being a part of theirs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Israel is a gift to our kingdom.
You know,
He's a-
Lois, saying that, I've been keep on telling the guys, in my circle, the church has missed Israel for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because every album he brings out, the songs that he brings out, it's church songs. You can sing it in church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's, we've been missing him.
Yeah. So
I
have you heard
think
the new album?
I think he launched
Just
today, or when,
today, yeah.
yes, he's launching today a new album.
Get
I cannot,
get it, guys.
Yes, I can't wait to hear that, because to be honest with you, he brought a fresh flavor into church
Yes.
music. You know what I'm saying? And that you cannot deny.
Yeah.
Like you say, we don't know how God downloads these things into his mind and into his heart, but he's just a phenomenal artist and worshiper.
And I think when you use that example, I think it's important to recognize that with each one of us, there's a different way that God uses us, right?
Yes.
So we look at Jay and we think, oh, God uses Jay like this, but why doesn't he use me like that? And I think that comparison devil has crept into the church where we try to do what Jay does and try to do what Lester does instead of just doing what I'm supposed to do and being content with what I'm supposed to do. Because it takes many parts to make up the body of Christ.
Yes.
The person at the gate is equally important as the person at the door, is equally important as the person taking the offering, is equally important as the person singing the worship, but is also just as important to the person giving the offering talk, because all of it brings it back to the word, which is the most important part. But each part is important. But now, kyk ons nou vir Lester nou dink ons, that's the role I want. When you don't even have the capacity to handle that role, I think it's important for you to know, like, man, even if I'm serving in the children's ministry, that's just as important to the greater body of Christ as being a presenter, as being anything else that seems to be in the limelight.
I think I like what the Unc says regarding that. Once upon a time, you actually said, I'd rather be the best second than a bad first.
I hear what you say. Everything collaborates together to form one, because we're working for one vision, one goal.
But we want to do it good.
Now, with Lois saying that, many would ask, but she was involved with Israel, and how does she know the church setup and so forth? You were at a few churches, and you were minister of music at a few churches back in the States.
Yes. Well, I was a part of Hope City, which is Pastor Jeremy Foster. I was part of Hope City from the beginning of its from the planting of the church until the beginning.
Where are they in the States?
In Houston. And that's I still say it's my pastor. So I got to be a part of that, serving. Like, I started as a greeter in the church.
Lois, just look at that guy. Just tell them, this is Lois, pop stars, second, released a single, sings with Israel Houghton. She's in the States. Here she comes to a church. What did you do?
I was singing with Israel at the time.
And then what did you do at church?
I was a greeter because I love people and I love to serve with people. And I've never had to be on stage, even now.
Right.
Like, my biggest, I don't have to be on stage.
Okay.
Right, because I do it for a career. So I don't have to do it. So I was a greeter. I loved being a greeter. And then until my pastor said, okay, enough now. We need you on the stage. We're going to put somebody, he literally said, we're putting somebody else in this position. We need you in the stage.
Okay.
So, we were a mobile church. We used to set up church every Saturday, tear down on Sunday. So it was a mobile every week situation. I think when you're involved in church, there's a lot of service that goes into it.
Yes.
But I also think from a church perspective, it's important to honor your volunteers, to be able to make sure that they are taken care of.
Yes.
Our church was huge on that, making sure that our team leaders took care of our teams. I loved serving in the capacity of greeter. It was really awesome for me. And then I joined the worship team. All of us led. There wasn't one specific worship leader. We were all different, worship leaders at the church. So we grew together. That was the first thing. And then I was there for about, I think they're in their 60. I was there for about 4 years, I think, after them opening. Then I moved to Pennsylvania. Okay. And then same thing. I just went to church the first few months and Pastor Phil at Greater Shiloh Church in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And he was like, Lois, now I know you've been sitting in church. Now you need to start serving. And I was like, okay, I'll start with social media. I'll do the social media for the church. So I ran the social media for the church. And I didn't at the time really want to sing or anything. So he was like, no, we need you to start singing. And so I said, okay, I'll come help out in the worship team. And that's how I started singing there. And I was there for 2 years before coming back. So I did go to Lakewood before Hope City, but not for long. I went there with
Okay.
Israel and them, yeah. But I was in Hope City for the longest time that I was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get back now to South Africa. You do a few things here and so forth. What are you busy with now? Look, we're moving. That's why we chose the subject, the sacred and the secular.
Yeah.
So we're moving now. So you move too?
So when I moved to Pennsylvania, I actually moved there because I wanted to pursue my acting in New York.
Okay.
So I went for auditions. I tried to do auditions and stuff there. New York is not for the faint at heart. Let me just tell you. Okay.
You know, that's my
First of all,
favorite city.
The rats
Yeah.
are not here to play. They are everywhere. Hulle bang vir jou nie, and they are not afraid. They're like, hey, New York, who's it?
Yeah.
They're here. Okay, so I went there, did a few auditions, but because I wasn't a SAG actor,
Okay.
you sit in an audition room. We go here and we sit in an audition. We complain for an hour. You sit there from 7 o'clock in the morning till 4 in the
Oh
afternoon.
my word.
And sometimes you don't get seen for the
Sure.
audition. And if you don't have a strong heart, yes, I'll.
Okay.
Because it's just the way it is. Every person in New York is a singer, actor, dancer, triple
I
threat.
tell you.
Everybody. And then, so it definitely, like, I was like, okay, I can go home now and go and do this at home. So
Yeah.
after trying New York and having no money, because that's the reality of being in New
Yeah,
York.
that's a fact.
If you don't have a job and you're not bringing in any work, you don't have money. So I went back to Pennsylvania and I said to Pastor Phil, okay, I'm going to find a job. I worked at Amazon in the warehouse for 2 years. I was a packer. I drove a forklift. I picked the stuff that all of you guys order from Amazon. It was very, very amazing for me. I actually didn't want to leave Amazon. It was the greatest experience of my life because it was the first job like that I've done. And I got to work with my hands as a creative. That's the most important. Like, it's so much fun.
Wow.
Got to meet people. The people that were there, the one lady was a lawyer. Because she was from India, she couldn't practice in the US, so she was working in the warehouse. One lady was a doctor, but because she was from Jamaica and her stuff wasn't qualified in the States, she was working in the warehouse. So you have
my word.
this multitude of amazing people working together, packing boxes and driving forklifts. And
Lois,
it was awesome.
How important is it on your journey to basically trust the journey? Because with everything you're saying, I don't have now one sense that you complained.
Yeah.
Or said, you know what, Lord, I was this and this, but now I'm here. Yeah. And even in every space is
let's be real. Let's be real. You do have those down moments, Lois.
Oh, you have them. I had it yesterday.
Yeah.
So I think what I've learned from David is that he said, God, these people are trying to kill me. Like, everything is against me, but I trust you.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to tell God how you feel and to be real with God about where you are. Like, okay, so just quickly, I worked in the truck, right? You know those big Coca-Cola trucks?
Yeah.
That was one of my positions. I had to pack the truck for the day. So you have 2 trucks and you're literally packing the boxes into the truck from the back of the truck to the front of the truck till the truck is full, and then you close the doors and then you ship it off. That was my job. Your job requirement was that you had to pick up 40 pounds. 40 to 70 pounds. You had to be able to pick it up. That was the thing. So I would remember being in the truck packing the boxes and just singing worship out loud and going, God, why am I here?
Yeah.
Why do you have me here? After seeing the world, after traveling the world, after recording all this music, why do you have me here?
Oh, God.
I don't understand. Like, why do you have me in this truck? Why am I here? And I would go every day, and my hours were long. They were 12-hour days. And I remember when I came home, after leaving there, like, I didn't want to leave because I loved the experience. But then when I got back home and my mom got sick,
oh, Lord,
it dawned on me that God had been preparing me to be able to pick her up and to be able to carry her and to be strong enough to be able to walk with her. And at the time when you're in the moment, it doesn't seem valid and it seems unfair. But what I learned from that is that God is always preparing us for the next thing in our lives. Afro-Z prepared me for Israel and New Breed because I wasn't starstruck.
Yes,
because I've already walked that path with Afro-Z. New Breed prepared me to be myself, to be to stand on my own, to be confident, and to be able to walk into a room and know who I am.
Yeah.
Amazon prepared me to take care of my mom.
Oh God.
So taking care of my mom has prepared me for something that I may not see now in this season of my life. But everything that we walk through in life prepares us for the next. We cannot see it at the time. We don't feel it. We don't understand it. But it's important for us to trust God through it.
Sure.
And that's how I chose to live my life. Like, okay, God, ek weet nie nou hoekom as ek nou weer hier nie, maar okay, fine. I trust you because I've seen him do it for me before, and I've seen him walk me through it. So now I just live my life as if I'm preparing for something in the next season. So what I'm doing now is wiping my tears. But
Lois making us emotional with Jay, man. Jay.
But I think it's really important, and this is the verse that I live by, that our steps are ordered by the Lord, and
Absolutely.
we said it before that many times we think it's just the steps that's going forward.
Yeah.
But sometimes God will make you take steps back as well and just prepare you for
Absolutely.
the next season.
How does that scripture go? Many are the plans in a man's heart.
But God.
But God,
what? I forgot it, but anyway, that's how it is.
But God.
Yeah,
in
but
the
God.
comment section. But God.
God will just direct it, eh? God will just direct it, and
Thank you.
it's the
There's
Lord's
the Bible
plans
student.
that prevails.
There's the Bible student.
Man,
Hallelujah.
it's the Lord's plans that prevails.
Amen.
And look, we have to plan.
Yes.
We have to set out goals and objectives for ourselves, and
Yes.
that's important. But many times it's the Lord that His ways prevail, His plans
Absolutely.
prevail. So you back in South Africa,
Yes.
what are you doing?
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so the pandemic, obviously we all just lived through a pandemic, guys. Can we just talk about that for a few minutes?
Man.
Shout out to all the musicians, actors, performers.
Guys,
Yeah.
thank you so
singers,
much, guys.
for making it through last year.
Yes.
It was a very rough year on our industry. And it also forced us as performers to shift into different spheres of life. So with that said, Bianca, you guys had Bianca on the
Yes.
show. Bianca, her husband.
Fabulous Bianca.
Yes, fabulous Bianca. We started a business together, a production company, and we've taken on different shows, studio. It's exciting times, but
Wow.
also nerve-wracking times because it's new territory that we've
Yes.
taken on. And I'm back in acting, auditioning. I just did a short film for Mnet.
Wow.
I'm super excited about that.
Wow.
My eerste rol
Yay.
back on TV. So, and chacharige auntie. But I'm excited. I'm just excited about just the ability, just the possibility of being able to act again and
Yes.
be able to do that again. So I'm still in church, still leading worship. Still, my desire is to continue to train people in worship and more in team dynamics than
Team
singing.
dynamics. Okay.
Because most
Okay.
people focus on the singing, but
Yes.
it's really like the aspect of your team.
Yeah.
So that's my passion. Hopefully, I'll be able to do more of that once the pandemic is over.
So you busy with I don't know what you call it. I saw it on social media, Lois. It's a group that you got together.
Oh,
or so-
yes. So when I came back, like I just felt such a strong, like pulling to, like I said, the musicians and the singers that are shunned by the church as a whole. Not shunned by the church, but like there's a lot of musicians that don't go to church anymore because now they're not holy enough, or and those kids are church kids.
But and with that said, there can be that notion, but I'm calling you guys back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As long as you have a pastor. I mean, Dr. Carl always says this. He says, everybody deserves a pastor. Doesn't matter
Absolutely.
who you are, where you are from. Everyone deserves a pastor.
And that's the point. Who's
Yes.
pastoring the musicians that are ministering to the world? Who's
Yes.
pastoring them?
Yes.
Who is worshiping with them? And so I created the fill up to really
And that's why the show is here
Yes.
as well, because we want to say, guys, you matter.
absolutely.
And whoever you are out there as musicians, as we just want to be there as a covering for you. You know, you don't have to serve at the church or whatever. It's just if you want to speak to somebody,
Have a place to go.
have a place to go to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You wanna communicate with somebody. We don't want you all, if you come into church, you have to play. No, that's not it. We saying just have someone that you can confide in, that you can talk to,
Absolutely.
and that brings you strength. Listen to the word, take it from there, and run and do the best with your life that you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's that group called?
Oh, it's an event. It's
Okay.
a monthly event. It's called the Fill Up, and it's literally
Okay.
it's exactly what it is. You come, get filled up. We have different speakers in the industry who are born again
Beautiful.
to come in and speak and encourage. Our first speaker we had was David Claessens,
Oh, man.
and then they share their testimony and their stories. And that's my heart, is just to be able to get those veterans that have been doing this for years
Yes,
in the
yes.
industry to remind the young cats, like, stay in your word.
Right.
Stay in God.
Right.
No matter where this career takes you, like, come back to your center, which is Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, go out and be a light.
Wow.
So that's the...
Wow. I think I think with Lois having said that, that's why we're talking about, guys, there's this notion that you either here or you either there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying you can be effective in the sacred and you can be effective in the secular.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, your light must shine in the world,
No matter where you are.
no matter where you are.
Even if you're an accountant.
Even if you can't, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
Yeah.
saying to
Yeah.
the musos, let your light shine there. Be the light that you are, and make a difference where you are. But keep your grounds and be rooted, you know.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
said, it's important to know the word, to be rooted in your belief, so
Yeah.
that you are not easily persuaded or swayed away.
Yep. And stay accountable to... I think that's something that our culture doesn't like to talk about, is accountability. Like, have an accountability partner that you can
Yes.
pray with, that can cover you when you are in those dark spaces and feeling like, man, like, I've run out of energy. I can't pray anymore. Or, you know, I've been going at it and I just can't do this anymore. Have someone that can cover you in prayer. Have someone that knows the truth of where
Yes.
you're at. Have someone that you can confess your sins to, like the Bible says.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm at a weak place. Like, I've been getting drunk every night. Have somebody that you can say that to.
And church is a good space to do
Yes.
that. If you are at a church,
Absolutely.
it's a good place to be at.
Getting involved in church is more than, like you said, it's more than just playing.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
getting filled up and getting connected to God and getting fellowship with people. It's not just about a status of being a part of a clique.
Yeah.
Church should never be a clique. It should never be a we're better than, or
Yes.
we're more than. We're here to be a light. We're
We're
here
here
to...
Look,
That's it.
church is a good place to be at.
Yep.
That's one
Amen.
of the institutions. I mean, it's a good place to be at. Yes, it's not perfect. No church is perfect.
No.
But we're not perfect beings. You
No.
know what I'm saying? When you find a perfect church, as soon as you join
In
it,
heaven.
it's imperfect. Because you're
We're
imperfect.
imperfect people.
We're imperfect people. So
Yeah.
if you're at a church, that's a good place to be at.
Absolutely.
And stay there.
Join a local
Grow
church,
there.
guys. Join a
Yes.
local church. Get involved. Even if it means just being a greeter.
Yeah, even if it just means being a greeter. Yeah, no, beautiful. Lo, we're gonna close this session. We were supposed to play some games and so forth, but we couldn't get to that because
Ek praat te veel.
because your story is so
The story,
intriguing,
Yeah.
so intriguing. And what do we want? What I want us to close with, that one emotional song that really hits the heartstrings, your heartstrings, when you in a space where you want to just worship the Lord. One of Israel's songs that you feel is really so close to your heart, you know, that has a story behind it for you.
Oh, one of Israel's songs.
Yeah, just one of those favorite ones. Seeing that he's launching his new album today.
Well, I will sing one of the songs that they recorded. It's a cover that they did. But
Okay.
all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.
Wow. Just do that one more time. Look.
All my life you have been faithful.
Ah.
All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God.
Ah.
'Cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me.
Ah.
Your goodness is running after, it's running after
on.
me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, you're running after me.
Oh, what a worshiper. Father, we give you glory and praise. Oh, that was beautiful, though. That was beautiful. Israel's got a new album out there. It's called Feels Like Home.
Yes.
Yeah,
Please
volume
get
1.
it, support
Yeah.
the family, get
Yeah.
the CD.
Feels like home. I can't, just right after the show, I'm going to download that and just listen to it, you know. But Lois, thank you so much. You're such an inspiration. You're such a worshiper. I mean, if you invite Lois, wherever you are, whichever church or whatever stage you want to invite her on, and you put her on the stage, I tell you, you won't make a mistake because it just oozes out of her. Whatever she does, it just works. And we want to thank you.
Thank
And
you.
we really appreciate you coming and sharing your story. And we trust that your steps are ordered.
Amen.
And you're going to make a
Amen.
success of whatever you do.
Thank you.
And thank you so
Amen.
much. And God bless you.
Thank you.
Jay?
Go to
Amen.
gym, guys. Go to gym today, please. Don't forget to go to gym. Thanks.
Now for me,
Jake
Lois, I know you have, plenty gifts. But if there's one, like the young said, that really stands out for me personally as well, it's the gift of worship.
Oh,
and
I tell you.
and I remember the first time I encountered you was at the factory, the youth group,
Yeah.
where you were actually singing there and you sang Hosanna. Oh my word. Oh my word. That was a special moment, and I'll never ever forget that moment when you sang that song so beautifully and you ushered the youth into the presence of the Lord.
Beautiful.
Man, the
Beautiful.
factory was such a special place, man. I'll
Yeah.
never forget nights at the factory. It was just like, honestly, true, pure worship and
Yes.
just like a hunger for God. Like those nights when we were jumping up so okay, bruh, this
Yeah,
guy is
and-
jumping
and-
so high. And
Yes, this guy.
you like seriously.
The hype,
like
the hype team.
No, not just the hype team. I think there's more than just the hype to it. I think showing people that you too can do this.
Yes.
And I think that's what it is. Like, if you see your pastor worshiping,
You-
you are encouraged to worship. If you see
100%.
your leaders jumping, you're like, man, I can do that. So I
Yeah.
think whatever we do, we
Yeah.
do it as to give others permission that you can also do that.
Wow.
So thank you for being that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, family, for watching. Thank you, family, for tuning in. Please press that subscribe button.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe, please, guys. And then share this link to many artists and musicians out there. This is a beautiful story that Lois has just spoken to us about. Share it, and we hope to see you next week again. God bless and keep well in your fields with the young.
young.